Well, let's dive right into it. Do just want to say, and we mentioned it on our last show as well, that we have a career fair coming up.
We do. April 28th. And it's not just for people who are actively looking for jobs, it's for people who are just curious what's out there.
Hey,
So don't be shy. It's at the public library, so you could even just pretend you're going to the library.
yeah,
uh,
downtown Cedar Rapids Public
yep.
Library, 3 to 6 p.m., April 28th. And there's going to be employers there. There's going to be a lot of employers there.
Yeah.
But
I
there's
think we're going
also
to have
going
nice
to be,
variety, something for everybody. And that's pretty much our mantra when it comes to career fairs.
yeah. And but yeah, the library has been really good to partner with, and we're going to also just have resources as well
Yeah.
available to job seekers or people that are curious, like you say.
Yeah, like if you need help with your resume, you just want to talk to somebody about career path or, what career skill upskilling resources are out there, we're going to have some resources for you there. So it's going to be a really great event and I'm looking forward to it. It's free to register and you can do that on corridorcareers.com.
Cool. Well, let's dive into our topic for today. We are in early March 2022. And that means we're just a couple months away from a big event for a lot of college graduates
Yeah.
or people graduating, or it could be high school.
Uh-huh.
But graduation is upcoming here, a couple months, and we're going to have a plethora of new people looking for jobs and or hitting the job market. So today we want to talk a little bit about entry-level jobs. So if you look at Corridor Careers right now, where could I go and find an entry-level job?
Yeah, we were just talking about this. So the variety of things that are considered entry level is really wide right now. So if you've not been in the workforce for some time, or you're just entering the workforce, it's not just retail positions that are open to you. There are such a variety of entry level positions that you could find something that would be interesting for you right now. And they range from, working at a nonprofit where you could try on a lot of different hats to just professional settings like medical settings where you could set appointments, call reminders, things like that. There's youth counselor roles, there's financial assistance. There's quite a variety. And what's really exciting right now for maybe a college student or just someone who's re-entering workforce is that, they can take what they've learned and how they've adapted over the pandemic as like a skill set into these entry level positions, because we've all had to grow so much over the last 3 years, whether we were working or not. You just had to adapt to so many different changes that our entire lives were upended, and here we are, we're still here, hopefully. And so you learn something no matter what happened in the last couple of years, and I would encourage you to use that if you were going to be talking with an employer about why you might be a good fit for them. So on careers, we have a job category called general help, and that is sometimes a category that's put on different roles because they're more open to just general applicants. And I'm seeing on here things like a cable installer. So oftentimes many local companies that install internet or cable offer really great training programs. So you could start as an entry level outside plant technician or outside cable installer technician, go through their training programs, and there are always a lot of benefits, whether it's for MediaCom or IMON or some other broadband companies that are in the area. So that's an interesting role. Mm-hmm. Definitely is for someone who doesn't want to sit in an office all day. You're going to be out in the field troubleshooting. You're going to be maybe climbing a pole. You're going to be doing physical things that are kind of interesting, and you get to be that person that's hooking someone up to the internet. So that's a really important job.
You're
right
everybody's
now.
Best friend when you show up, right?
I've had many relationship over the past 2 years with a cable installer. So dispatchers, there are a lot of transportation roles that aren't just drivers. There are dispatcher roles, there are scheduler roles, coordinator roles. And so if you're interested in kind of the movement of things and this whole supply chain, that is a growing field. And so maybe you even got your degree in supply chain technology or something like that. Those are critical roles that are needing to be filled in uh, our location or in this area. And there are quite a few transportation companies in the greater corridor. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And then you have
Yeah.
your things like receptionist, front desk manager, um, and then janitorial services. There's a lot of janitorial services that are needing more help because they are expanding their services with businesses that have reopened, and they're rehiring a lot of people to work and clean those
Mhm.
facilities. So those are options as well. And then sales is a really great entry level position, especially for a college student who wants to get their feet wet and understand how businesses work. Sales is such a great skill set to have, wouldn't you say, Dan?
Absolutely. I was looking at that right here in I think one of the top jobs that showed up on the general help page on Corridor Careers was a sales job, a car sales job at Dave Wright. I was like, if you were interested in cars, and you mentioned like a transportation job, but what
Mhm.
if you know, are maybe into business, or you kind of want to get a little, you want to work with people and help people, and maybe that's through selling cars. What a great like entry level way to not only meet other people at work, but also you know um, make a solid income right out of college. And I was just thinking back to kind of those moments right after I got done with school, and it was a tough time. The economy was not doing well. I remember it was 2008. I took an internship making $8.50 an hour because that's what I could find. Um, I remember, I tried to ask my uncle who was working at Principal Financial in Des Moines. I was like, "Hey, do you guys have any jobs open over there?" And he's like, "Yeah, we just laid off like 30% of our people, and we all took a 20% pay cut." So
Oh no.
it was just a rough time in the world right at that moment. But I'm just thinking like, what a great opportunity um, for people coming out right now with the amount of jobs available. But I would also give one thing of advice, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this too. When you were coming out of school, um, I know that when right after you get done with college, you kind of have this idea like, oh, this is my dream job, and I
Hmm.
want it now. Like
Yeah.
I want to be there right now. And now that I'm, 14 years removed from college, I remember getting frustrated that I didn't have my dream job like 6 months out of college, you
Right.
know, and I look back on that now and I'm like, wow, if I just would have maybe like not been so impatient, like right in those months right after college, and not that I 100% enjoy my career right now, but
Hmm.
I remember just being very impatient with what I was trying to accomplish at that time in my life. Can you relate?
Yeah. Well, I think probably my parents could relate more than me because I didn't really care about getting a dream job right out of college, but I'm sure my parents wanted me to get something that paid the loans back. Uh, yeah, there is sometimes that pushback of like, oh, these new college grads, they want everything right away. I think that's probably an overgeneralization. You've just finished 4 or 5 years of intense preparation to try to get into a career path. So there should be some expectation that, your efforts will pay off. So I don't fault anyone for feeling like they should have something that is rewarding after all of that effort. But on the flip side of that, when we look in hindsight back on a career path, it winds many different ways. And so I think the only wrong move that you could make is not saying yes to something that could potentially lead to an opportunity that you maybe hadn't even considered because you were so close-minded and narrow focused on a particular dream job that you felt was right for you. Because honestly, in 3 years, there's going to be job titles that don't exist now. And there's just the world is changing so quickly that it's really just about, let's just say yes to something that fits the criteria that's right for me. Like what's your day-to-day going to be like? That's probably
Sure.
more important than whether it's your dream job or not, because it could turn into your dream job maybe in the future. maybe won't start that way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, things are changing so fast, with, technology, and I feel like all of our jobs just continually evolve, right?
Hmm.
Like our jobs won't be done the same way in a couple years that we're doing them right now, and that's the way of the world, and that's exciting.
Hmm.
Um, but I also think what you want when you're 22 might not be what you want when you're 26.
Yep.
Probably isn't going to be what you want when you're in your early 30s. So there's this evolution, and I think that's fun and exciting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just leave it at that. I think we're going to throw a couple resources in the show notes for you. So just different entry level positions to maybe consider, but also, a skill evaluator. We have a tool that you can use that is I think from Iowa Works, that you can use to determine what your skills are. And that can help you match yourself to a career path that might be a good fit for you. And then within that career path, then you can find those entry level positions within that career path to start at. So some good stuff in the show notes. So be sure to check those out.
Cool. I love it. Thanks, Liz.
All right. You guys have a great day.